right, so market's open too damn early. Take a look at FinViz. 10 o'clock, what do you mean? Crude down 4%. Index is down 2. 2 to 2.5. WX has held up really well. Amazon, NASDAQ. Tesla's flat here at 650. That's not bad. Although it is kind of resting lower. That's usually not great. Microsoft down 3%. NASDAQ futures. There's the Qs. 2%. So the rise yesterday wasn't in really bad volume. It's actually halfway okay. Not a follow-through day, though. See what Investors Business Daily is having to say. Two biotechs advance. Yeah, there's always two biotechs advancing. Beverage giants ramp up energy drink rival. So IBD has this new strategy out. I'm not sure when they announced it, but it's just all of a sudden there. It's long-term leader list. IBD long-term leaders. It's kind of like a. Oh, I gotta sign in. Let me pull in from the other profile. I'm signed in over there. Okay, so here's a long-term leaders portfolio. It's a different portfolio that they have. Again, I'm not sure when they started it. I don't remember getting an email or anything like that. Here we go. Learn more about IBD long-term leaders. This is for, bigger companies looking to outperform the S&P long-term. Like this. I don't think it's a bad list. This is looking for basically holds for years, which is a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. Less turnover. TransDigm versus Apple. Wow, it's a nice run. TransDigm 3,600%. Yeah, the problem with these all-time stocks is they're super old. I don't know about if IBD is going to be able to pull this one off. It's going to take at least 10 years to know if this is a good list or not, and by then you're already dead. Yeah, this is contrary to everything else in CanSlim. That's going to work out well. This is good though, and this is going to be good for a lot. When the dust starts to settle from the virus crisis, one of these long-term leaders will present logical. One by one, these long-term leaders will present logical entry points. Now, I don't mind long-term leaders list, uh, but the problem here is they're not going to tell you to buy TransDigm in 2009. There's not. It's not a long-term leader then. It's a long-term leader here, and then you basically get 100% gain out of it. So anyway, we'll see. Let's see what the big picture has to say. Day one of new rally attempt. All right. All right, so looking at the cues, still have basically large downtrend intact. Nothing's really fundamentally changed in either direction. If you look at FinViz, they're talking about, um, even on Investors Business Daily, and additional pressure by Saudi Arabia. So we'll see what happens with oil, but it doesn't look like it's going to be some. Bought some TQ, Hale? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm just waiting for follow through day, to be honest with you. I'm not in a rush here. I mean, the market has had such a crazy ass uptrend. It's really just been spectacular. Let's do something real quick. I was thinking about doing this the other day, but kind of forgot about it. Um, Dow Jones long-term chart. No, look, stock certificates. Always wanted one of those. Pinterest. Trading on Pinterest. There you go. How the hell can I see that chart? All right, all-star charts. You better give me a decent chart. Well, it's better than nothing. It's actually old. We're up there towards 30,000. I think this looks like it's a logarithmic chart as well. So, um, I'm looking at other periods that have been kind of choppy yet uptrending. I think most of us here are familiar with the 1970s, which oil embargoes, all kinds of stuff happening over here. Basically went flat at 1,000 for ever. It's like from 66 to 82. Yeah, that's forever. It's like 18 years, 16 years. And then the huge bull run here. We look like we're right about here because we just came out of kind of this 10-year hiatus in the markets. We didn't just come out of it. It happened in 2015 actually, but we're there. And now we have this little sequence right here. I wonder if I can get back to the 80s. This DJI, I was just thinking about that. On the point, Mihail. Um, what do you mean? Let's do monthly. Let's go out into the singular chart space. What? That is dope. You gotta be kidding me. This is fantastic. My favorite thing of all time right here. I've always wanted to chart this. So this is where I'm saying we might be in this cycle. You got a big correction. You got another correction. Right here, a smaller one. But it started up higher. Here as well. Obviously that's going pretty parabolic there for that last little bit. Okay, so here's a couple of these bobbles. So let's see, we have a 50-month moving average here in the purple. And then obviously the 200-month moving average back here from 2008 that we got hit. Right there in the 1970s. This is pretty awesome. Going back to 1915. Yeah, long term, our RSI is pretty low on the monthly. It's not bad. So I was thinking, I'm not sure what I was thinking about this. That's not accurate. It's 1987. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So this was our last correction right here. Down about 20%. Well, this is the Dow, so the percentages are going to be a little bit different. This one also down about 20%. So that would be pretty on par with most corrections of the modern era here. It's like 20% corrections, obviously. The plunge, about 55. And then you got 2000. About 38. This would be a great chart to mark up. One of these days. I like it. Thanks, man. That was good. Buying at 20 RSI. I wasn't looking at that, but yeah, that one says about 14. Well, give or take, the line's thicker than you can actually get a good feel for it on. Yeah, 20. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, any spike down here under, so that's 20 on the monthly, and then that's yeah, 20. 20 is about right. Just always buy at 20 and then just never sell because the market always goes up. Yeah, 30 as well, hitting the line there. We're down towards 40 at the moment. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess in theory we could get down that far, but look, we just exceeded our side of to the top side here a little bit ago. Right there, up at 93. Let's do this. Let's draw. There's a range right there, and you get these lows here. You've only had like 4 times to sell and 4 times to buy. That would be a pretty good long-term strategy. This almost encompasses a single lifetime. Like if you were born in 1915, you could still be alive today. So, oh, no alert today, Rob? I did ban you. So, there's that. Just saying. Eli was telling me some stuff that I'm like, what? Rob said what? What? Nice long-term chart here, man. And if you look at the big fake news. Yeah, if you look at how the market goes, look at that guy right there. You've never had this chart before. This is like You don't know what this means to me. You have no idea what this means to me. Um, Look at these economic cycles. So we're hitting we're hit one or two blips here. You've got the post 29 crash. Oh, no, I think I sent you a pipe. I mailed you a pipe bomb, Rob, is what I did. Son of a bitch. MasterCard down 4% today? It's on my list too. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, down 4%. Wow. Gotta buy it. Okay, so here you can see. Now, in theory, you would think that there's some logic to the stock market. Um, we did some stuff on Bitcoin the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day. It was kind of a culmination of a bunch of things. But Bitcoin's price could be derived from its supply chain. Yes, I'm using that term incorrectly. And the fact that it does have halvings and things of that nature. You would think there's some logic here because looks fairly logical, right? You get the 1929 crash, which sets everything in motion. And then you have a massive cup and handle here, very large base from 37 over here to 50 sideways for like almost 20 years, or that's like 13 years. Then you rally for a significant period of time. This rally goes for, someone do math. I don't know math very well. 50 to 65, that's easier. Okay, that's 15 years. And then we go sideways for a little more actually. 65 to 82, that's almost 20 years, 17 years. Then we rally for 14 years, and then we go sideways for 14 years, and now we're 8 years into a rally. So there's a potential we have an additional 8 years to rally from here. If you look at these charts, there's a possibility there. I mean, I'm not sure if it's due to monetary policy, because keep in mind the Fed is actually new. I think the Fed charter, I think the Federal Reserve charter is in the 30s. So this could be called the era of the Fed. $1913. Okay. Oh, actually, before the 29 crash. Did not know that. Okay. That was after. And it's actually all the way back here. So we heard everything from cash out retirement plans and take the 10% because it's going down 50%, all the way going to all-time highs in 2 months. Yeah. Well, for those of you in a TQQQ strategy, similar to myself, these are great times because you get to buy that bitch a lot cheaper. Um, and I mean, I do believe we're going to go back into highs. This is a Fed-based market right here, very obviously. They mishandled 1929 somehow, but this has been very Fed-based. You can see these large bases built up, and then these big runs. I mean, we're just in the middle of one of these big runs. You got one, two, a couple corrections here, a few corrections here, leading into a massive parabolic move, and then now we're in the middle of another correction on this next leg from a breakout in 2015. So, you know, based on this cycle, we still have more room to go generally. We're here every day. We can afford to go cash and hang out for a bit, you know. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. All right. So yesterday, the NASDAQ ended up actually rallying pretty good. We took over the prior day's highs, but we're definitely still well within a downtrend. And today we're down a little bit. So we're a little news light, which accounts for lighter volatility today. only down 2.5%. And over time, our volatility hopefully will reduce. If we get more news, we're going to plunge again. It's pretty news based at this point in time. So if we get more stuff from Iran, if we get more bad coronavirus stuff, and keep in mind the coronavirus is I mean it's basically a virus. It has to run its course. This isn't something we're going to take a magic pill for. Um, I don't think, if the Fed announces they're going to open tons and tons and tons of stimulus, like $1 trillion in stimulus, um, that may do it, but it's probably not very healthy for the markets. But anyway, yeah, at this stage of the game, the coronavirus has to play itself out, and we have to see what this whole Saudi Arabia thing looks like longer term. So right now the market still has a downside bias. If New York goes into self-isolation, maybe the market will close for a bit. I don't think so. It's mostly digital. So much of this volume is digital. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm finding it funny that JD.com is up 2.7%. That's pretty interesting. Alibaba, United Airlines down 5% after a decent bounce yesterday. Marriott, not quite a similar situation. You got a low volume bounce here, and the ability to be down 5%. Yesterday was a good time to go short in some of these other names. So the Marriott, United Airlines of the world, those are very real fears of the coronavirus. But a stock like ServiceNow isn't really hurting by coronavirus or by oil prices. Obviously, it's a cloud play and likely rent servers on Amazon, so it's a strictly digital play, which implies that, they really can't be hurt too much. They're basically incubated. So we've dropped about 20% in ServiceNow. That's probably going to be a pretty good one going forward. You can see the pullbacks here to the 200-day moving average. Everyone so far should have been bought, at least at some point. This one obviously undercut it a little more significantly. This one did too, so we'll see what happens, but it hasn't quite hit the 200-day yet. Let's take a look at Adobe, which also should be fairly immune, but market corrections, no stock is immune to a market correction. Some can buck it for a while, but I don't think that's the deal. Our market's been open for a minute. Let's check out FinViz again to see what else we get. Tesla. Oh, Telza. They're getting the benefit of people fat fingering their ticker symbol. Did they just change their ticker symbol? Oh, treating coronavirus. Oh, wow. Up 219%. Nice. Nothing and then everything. Very tiny, tiny company there. All right, major news. SQ. Let's check it out, Brad. Down 4%. Coming back into the base with the rest of. Yeah, so Square is an interesting one. It actually, you would think Square would be a good stock, but it's lagging in its industry group. So if you look at it, longer term purchases, or just not really bottom buying purchases, but these areas looks like we're maybe getting towards one. Volume aggregation tool still bullish actually. RSI in the dumps. Hold on a sec. All right, I'm back. Ooh, it rained overnight in Arizona. Nice. Let's see if my sprinkler timer recognized that. Smart devices are fun until they're not smart, and then you just start watering in the rain. You're like, what do I have you for then? And you have a folder for my IoT devices. Your device is offline. Oh, maybe that's why. All right, very interesting. But yeah, so SQ down there. I mean, not too bad. But when you look at stocks in the payment arena, you've got Visa, which obviously is in a league of its own. Mastercard, obviously in a league of its own. You've got PayPal. UK interest rate cut in emergency move. Okay. They do all this stuff overnight just to mess with the stock market. I guarantee you that. Wow, Justin. Guys, let the market do. It's okay that the market goes down. It's okay. Governments of the world. It's okay. Just let it freaking happen, people. I'm not going to tank your economy because we get a coronavirus for 6 months. My goodness. Who's the adult in these rooms? Talk about giving everyone a participation medal. Welcome to the stock market. Seriously. I mean, it's okay that the market corrects. It's part of its mechanism. It can't go straight up. Seriously, just write checks. They should just literally they should just write check. They're like, remember Andrew Yang, $1,000 a month for everyone? Just do that. Do that. It would be a lot cheaper and a lot easier than all this other garbage that they're doing. Just give them $1,000. Period. Oh no, we'll just cut rates for the entire globe and global national banks. We'll give them free money so they can invest it in bonds, which just increases the national debt. Yes, Eli. Real president? Absolutely. I should start that channel. I should start that channel. I should get a green screen and I should put the national seal behind me and I should put on a suit and I should pretend to be the president. And like, this is what I would do. All right, everyone, there's a coronavirus. Wash your hands. Don't cough on your cubicle mate. And carry a rag with you to touch other stuff. You're welcome. Oh, by the way, monetary policy not changing. You're welcome. Have a good day. Yeah, they would vote me president of the United States based on my monetary policy alone. Absolutely. All right. So market's calming down here a little bit, but we're happy living lower, which is interesting. Still kind of happy Tesla's lower. Come on, Tesla. Keep pulling in, you summoner. Another thing here. Nice little trend line for Tesla there. So it's actually come in fairly substantially. 37%. Don't breathe. We've currently found that breathing spreads the coronavirus. So we're highly recommending people to take an oxygen through other ways. Repositories, repositories are recommended by the CDC. Yes, oxygen repositories. This is accurate. Try it down, please. Thank you, sir. Eli, you're my health secretary. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's run. Although I'm not sure Would we be Democrats, or would we'd probably have to run as independents though. I, I don't want to take, although to be honest with you, I think we would take away votes from um, the Democrats and the Republicans. That's right. You don't want to cannibalize your own party, but when you're down the middle, you're gonna cannibalize from both, and that's okay. Use your imagination to breathe. Maybe I'll just make you my vice president. We can just come up with fantastic ideas to save the country, like shorting Oxy. Looks like a pretty dang good idea. Look at that thing. That is a huge hit. Absolutely massive. Not sure if they can come back from that. Twitter's down 4%. Man, they were looking okay, and then they just hey, what's up, Ted? You know what, Ted? I think you're right. We're on our way. We're on our way there. I usually look at other people, but I don't like actually interact with them. I see people driving by my window. That's why I open my window when I do my streams, because I have to remind myself that the world doesn't consist of the YouTube chat window. There's more to life than YouTube chat window. There's rain in Arizona today. 30 seconds of crypto thoughts overview. Let's go check it out. Stocks aren't doing a whole lot right now. Um, yeah, so I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin. I looked at some of these other numbers. I wasn't too happy with those. So, um, yeah, Bitcoin, we talk about this inverted head and shoulders pattern, and there's really, we're not finding a lot of support right now. So you can see here on the 2 hour chart, we're happily lower. We tried to rally a little bit yesterday, and that pulled back significantly. Um, if we start to undercut right here, which it looks like we're going to, I'm not gonna be super happy with it, to be honest with you. The rest of the market doesn't really look like it wants to hold up at all. Bitcoin Cash looks like it may have started a rollover, but we could bottom here as well. Um, and I'm just not seeing a lot of general support all the way around at this moment in time. It's looking like we're just in these downtrends from these. We had a very nice altcoin run, and we're breaking long. We already broke this long-term downtrend in Ethereum Classic. So I think, well, I'm not super happy with the action. It's just time for patience. Hey, what's up, Paul? We can see you. Someone ban Paul. Quick, Eli, ban him. Fast. He wasn't supposed to be here to begin with. Now he's here. Have we determined that BTC does follow the market, not inverse to the market? I definitely wouldn't say it's inverse to the market. I don't personally have a massive. I don't think there's a massive correlation personally. 50 Satoshi in our chat room, he definitely thinks there's one, and he's pretty good. So um, may defer to him on that one. Let's look at the BTC one daily, and then we can add. Say the SPY, and let the chart tell us if there's a correlation or not. So I mean, it's a loose correlation. It's not overt. You see here, Bitcoin rallied significantly while the S&P really did not. It was basically flat. This only goes back as the futures go back. So it's loose correlation. It's not perfect correlation. It's loose correlation though. And I think generally that makes sense as you get these assets, um, as Bitcoin becomes more prevalent globally, more known, and all that garbage. I think what you start to see is when people need to raise capital, they usually raise capital from all of the markets. They usually won't have preferential treatment unless there's outperformance or some other underlying difference. And so Bitcoin is just another asset class. So you can see here this recent drop in BTC is aligned with the markets. So there's a possibility that they just had to take that there's some capital was needed or something. But so I think there is a loose correlation. It's again not tick for tick, obviously, but S&P and the general market being a downtrend, and then we have Bitcoin right now in a downtrend. I don't think that's it's loose coincidence. Like I said, I think if they have to raise cash, they're just going to raise cash. Yeah, Jake, exactly. Everything correlates at some degree, and at some point. At some point, everything always correlates, right? You're going to see gold in the stock market correlate. They've correlated before. In reality, they should be completely inverse, but they're also not inverse to each other. So it's an interesting situation between asset classes. If you can figure that out, which I really haven't put a lot of time and effort into, I think you can come up with some pretty good investing ideas. I'll say one thing about BTC recently, looking at it from the futures perspective here, is you have a good amount of volume on the way up here, and we have pretty lackadaisical volume on the way down. We were discussing this a while back, and that being a bottoming candle on higher volume, hopefully we'll see that curl back up. I have a gap here that I think every gap in this chart has been filled at some point. There's a breakaway gap here that we came back and filled right there. So I think at some point this is going to get filled, and that maybe that'll get people bullish again. I don't know. But right now, some of these altcoins are kind of falling apart. Bitcoin, we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern here that Casey mentioned. I don't see him this morning here, but Casey started talking about this inverted head and shoulders pattern, so we adopted it, and it looks like it's come to pass. And we're in the area of the right shoulder. But one thing we were talking about yesterday in the Power Hour, as we get down towards right shoulder territory, it's just how choppy all these consolidations has been. They're just incredibly, incredibly choppy. And so I can't imagine why this would be that different. So I'm not in a rush to get in because we could just chop down here and just destroy accounts for the next while. You look at a trend line such as that. You look at a trend line such as that. And, we spiked down here, bounced up a decent amount, failed at the prior high over here, and then rolled back over again, undercut and rally right there. And then we broke the trend line definitively on that last leg up. So this could FUD around for a while. And I'm just playing patient right here. Bitcoin cycles are increasing in length, and that is another determinant factor to this. Jake thinks it'll crash. If it doesn't crash, if Bitcoin doesn't crash, then we're just biding time sideways before we go up. There's always a possibility of a crash. I don't think you can ever take that off the table, to be honest with you. But I do find it, if it does crash here, I think it's pretty harmful. Because if you look at this, now I know I have the monthly here, which I usually don't go to monthlies on Bitcoin, but you can see we've held this logarithmic chart of Bitcoin, which inversely correlates, I talked a little bit about this earlier, which inversely correlates to the supply, to the halving growth of BTC. And so in theory, we're just going to continue along this potential supply, supply curve. And we're right on that line right now, which is scary as all get out, to be honest with you. It's not a very good thing. But we touched it, we haven't broken it, and I think that could be big. This could be one of those really, really good buys, but it's always very scary when you're down. When you're down like this and thinking about very long-term buys. When you look at buys on this trend line, you don't get too many of them at all.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, Ethan. Except for here. Huh?
I need a ruler.
A ruler? It's in the drawer in your desk.
Okay. But like a straight one.
Hmm?
A straight line.
Yeah, a ruler. Open the drawer. The drawer. There you go. Wouldn't you wait for confirmation of support of the trend line? Well, I haven't made a purchase yet, so yes, I am waiting for confirmation. But we already have one bounce, and we're resting above it. So, um, the one thing I've noted here is that confirmation is you're going to pay a little bit for it, which isn't too bad. It's really not too bad. I don't mind waiting for confirmation. But confirmation in this particular setup, which we have here, is relatively high. We had it over here at 81. I think we were talking. Oh no, it was here. Yeah, almost 82. We had it at 82. Or was it here? I don't recall. My trend line's gone. So. Oh, there it is, right here. I think that was our confirmation line for this low, and it's way up here. It's super high. So it's interesting. But if this starts to rally, like rally on the way back up, I think you can buy somewhere on the way back up, because if this is a buy off of this trend line, you're not going to get another one, because this bottom line continually increases.
Where is 1/8?
1/8. Okay. So each one of these lines is a 16th. So 1/8 would be every second line.
So that?
Yes, the one's a little bit bigger than the previous one.
That one.
Yeah. You don't have to start from here. You can start from 3 and go to that one if you want.
No.
Okay.
He said that.
Well, whichever. 1/8 of an inch is the same across the entire ruler. So wherever you start. All right. Let's jump back to stocks. I think I'm going to bounce out of here, guys, in a little bit. Market looks like it's, bless you, just doing its thing down here, waiting for shoes to drop. I think it wants to rally. Not sure if it will rally. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But the oil thing, I think, is going to be huge, and then obviously coronavirus, which is, like I mentioned earlier, it is a virus, no pun intended, but it does just have to run its course. I don't think there's much you can do about the coronavirus. It's one of the bigger widespread viruses that is new, and we haven't seen a reaction like this globally in a long time, and this one seems to be a little more prolonged. You're still seeing conferences closing. You're seeing all kinds of things actually closing down, and it's going to be it's going to be a while before the economy gets back to normal. You got a lot of countries still talking about increasing infection counts, and it's crazy. I think it's a little bit overblown in my opinion, but you roll with the facts in the market. All right, guys, I think I'm going to get out of here. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day today. As long as our general trend here is lower, I think we generally continue lower. If we start to go sideways for a bit, then we're just waiting for news. Oh, Bryce, well, thanks for joining us. Well, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you like crypto, go to my Real-Crypto channel and check that out, which I need to post a video on. I've had to do that for a couple of days now. I'm not a very good YouTuber. All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.